They want a new venue. They said that you can't unring that bell. That form or that filing was meant to be sealed, and the clerk inadvertently filed it without it being under seal. And now all of the newspapers and all of the bloggers and vloggers and podcasts have read it. Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? Donna. Honey, what happened, Miss Donna Adeleson? We have a quick update from Miss Adelson. We just had one last week, and it's moving and grooving. But remember I talked to you about the video that Brother Counsel did where there was an in-camera interview with Dr. Rob Adelson, Donna's oldest son. And basically, it sounded like Rob was frank and honest about his mom and his relationship with his mom, mainly that, she didn't approve of his first love, and he married someone else and then went back and married the love of his life. She was a different religion, a different race, etc. And I believe Donna really wanted Jewish grandkids. And so, yeah, that was one of the things was like a zinger, I guess, was that he said that she would always put her own self-interest first, and that, she's what is that, like dying violet or whatever? She's not going to back down. A wilting violet? Someone will tell me down below. I'm trying to blank. So let's look at what her attorney said in response, because apparently that little notice or the deposition, the transcript was meant to be sealed. It was not meant to get out. But lo and behold, it was on the court docket for at least a couple of weeks. I'm not going to say like months, but at least a couple of weeks, because I saw a couple of different people cover it. So her defense was like, hold up, wait a minute. Let me get some boom in it. So our victim, Dan Markel, born October 9th, 1972. And he was shot on the 18th of July in 2014. And he succumbed to his injuries on the 19th of July in 2014. He was a father of two. He was married to Wendy Adelson, Donna's daughter. They picked him out on J-Date. And apparently Donna thought she was going to get to run the whole marriage. And when it didn't go that way, she and Wendy decided, instead of just getting a divorce, which she did get a divorce, kudos for step one, she wanted to move back to Miami. They were in Tallahassee, where he was a tenured professor, the youngest tenured professor at that time in the history of the university. I don't know about now. He was born in 72, so he was born a year after I was. He would have just turned in October, would he have turned? He would have turned 53, because I'm going to be 54 this year. So just at he was taken very young, because he's been gone for 10. We're going into the 11th year come this July. So just a tragedy all around. He was referred to as a legal genius. He believed in arguing, as a lot of lawyers do. I think they call it the sartorial method, right? So, okay, let's get into Donna. This is her and the family back in the day. This is her in better days. She has since been arrested. What is her team going on about? They want a new venue. They said that you can't unring that bell. That form or that filing was meant to be sealed, and the clerk inadvertently filed it without it being under seal. And now all of the newspapers and all of the bloggers and vloggers and podcasts have read it. And somehow that's going to taint the jury. Now, mind you, it's on the internet. The internet goes everywhere. I don't know where they're going to move the trial where there is no internet. So, however, there are some people who haven't followed this, even though it's been 10 plus years, even though multiple people have been arrested. There are some people who didn't follow it. And at first I found that hard to believe, but recently I saw a video where another content creator interviewed a friend, a former friend of Sarah Boone, childhood friend, and she hadn't heard of not only had she not heard of the case, she hadn't heard of the conviction or any of it. And so it was an odd thing to watch as it kind of was revealed to her. So, and that was someone who knew the name. Well, I guess she knew her as both Sarah Paulson and Sarah Boone. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Not everyone is as glued to true crime as we are. So I think in and of itself, a venue change, like I would think first ask for like having the jury shipped in, bust in, whatever. But anyway, let me tell you. Donna Adeleson, she's trying to get her murder trial moved out of town. She's citing widespread publicity in the years-long case and recent coverage of closed-door hearings involving her estranged son, Rob Adelson. Now, mind you, I think it's a good point that Rob would be able to make. I don't know if it's admissible. These are my 2 cents about him saying how his mom was so involved in his marriage or in his relations, because it was technically before he got married, but his marital plans, let's say, she was super involved. And so it's not far-fetched that she would be equally as involved in Wendy's life. Now, why she wasn't up in Charlie's business, I don't know, because he had a child out of wedlock from a non-Jewish woman who I think it was like a oopsie. I mean, listen, all babies are blessings. All babies are blessings. But he was like a playboy, and she had these other plans, I guess, for Wendy and Rob. Now, psychiatry is not my bag, but I was wondering if there was a part of her that, because she's so enmeshed with Charlie, that there's an attraction. Like, she doesn't feel like any woman would ever be good enough, so she's fine if he never got married. Well, obviously it's not happening. Well, the Menendez brothers, he could still get married. But you know what I'm saying? I think that Rob's testimony is valuable in that sense. I just don't know if that part is admissible or if it's more prejudicial than probative. So maybe on rebuttal to rebut something, they would bring him in. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, like I said. They were going to wait until they tried to pick a jury in her trial in June. However, they were going to go through the motions as you are meant to do. And then if that didn't work, file, which is, I believe, procedurally correct. But then they said, oh, all bets are off. This is out. Everybody's talking about her and the slur word. And I do want to say, for the record, in the document that I saw, it did not say racial slur. It just said slur, and everybody else keeps saying racial. If that is the only slur that exists, then yes, that is it. I just want to be clear on what I saw, because I don't want to be in like the telephone game of, you know what I mean? So some of y'all don't care, but some of you do. I care. They said they were forced to file it sooner because the clerk of court failed to seal the transcript, who's a state witness and New York doctor who's been estranged from his family since the Markel murder. They were strained before, to be fair, but he had the sense, and he talks about it on the Over My Dead Body podcast. If you saw my last video on Donna, I referenced that. He was asking them, like, who did it? Are you afraid? Like, common sense questions for some person who is not living a high risk life, who's murdered in broad daylight at their home, shot in broad daylight. He didn't die until then, but it's still a murder. You know what I'm saying? It just defies logic. It was posted on the clerk's website for a time. Like I said, newspapers and everything else covered it. They wrote that she cannot receive a fair trial in Leon County. This is what they said. The pretrial publicity in this case has been so inflammatory and emotional and pervasive that the Leon County jury pool is now tainted by preconceptions, bias, and prejudice toward Mrs. Adelson. To be fair, I know lawyers like to be dramatic. Good for them. I don't think that one single document that we've been talking about, I didn't show the document. I didn't have the document. I sent you all over to Brother Counsel, where I saw on his screen as he read the document. But it's hard to believe that everything was cool and copacetic before then, which is why I think they said, oh, we were going to wait, which is the proper thing to do. But we couldn't, because you forced us to do this. It just seems like a little extra. Judge Everett doesn't seem to suffer fools. Oh, I can't wait till we have a room with him in it. He's also Zen in a different way than Zadie Kranick, but I dig it. The pretrial publicity is inflammatory. The effect of this publicity make it impossible for a Leon County jury to render a fair verdict based solely on the evidence presented at trial. I just don't know what county they're going to be in where it's not covered, because I don't think I mentioned Leon County in my video specifically. It's like Donna Adeleson. So it's hard because to glean out where that's coming from. Like, it's going to be, I don't know, in Orange County. Like, they don't have the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, the correlation, it's a bit thin for me. The state's not replied yet. So as soon as we get the reply, hopefully I'll have my full access to Leon County by then and I'll be able to see it. Like right now, it's still pending. There's a whole video I did about of what Rob, his relationship with this was his relationship is with his mom and his family and like kind of the history from childhood. It's brief. It's not a long thing, but there's just some key things that I wanted to highlight in case you hadn't been following the trial. So Donna's the fifth person charged in the murder for hire. You know, Charlie was just convicted. Her phone call one of her many phone calls to Charlie, she forgot to hang up on and told all the tea about how she was getting to a non-extradition country and she might unalive herself. That's why you see in the carousel her in the turtle suit, because she was like, oh, I've lived a good life. I don't know why I made her sound like a drunk woman, but you know what I mean. So everybody else is serving life in prison. Charlie got the biggest sentence. He got life plus 60. So he got life on the murder charge. And then on the second two, conspiracy to commit, and I can't remember the third, he got 50 or 30 each. Where the others didn't. I think Katie got life plus 15 or maybe plus 30. I don't remember, but he got the highest one and he's appealing that part of it too, which I don't know if it makes any difference unless he gets the life overturned because you only have one life to give. I don't know where you're getting the 60 years from, but you know, that was the sentence. They're all in prison. It's expected that Katie McBanawa, well, it's expected by me, I don't know about other people, that Katie McBanawa will show up at the trial, right? Because we know Donna she wrote checks to Katie. Specifically, she wrote out consecutive check numbers. You know, you go on your checkbook and just boop, 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 with different dates. And so that was a red flag, right? Because you didn't have any other business checks in the last 6 months to write, you know? And so they're going to have to explain it. At Charlie's trial, Katie already said, I never worked there. So what is Donna's story going to be? Why were you writing her checks? Is she going with the extortion? A whole host of things. You know, there's I feel like Katie lost her appeal. I know for sure Sigfredo did, but when she was at Charlie's trial, let me not say that. I don't know where her appeal stands, let's be fair. But at Charlie's trial, she was saying was still waiting appeal, which is why I just don't know why she didn't take a deal when she was like, oh, I was trying to protect Sigfredo. Girl, think about your kids. You know, the children are victims too. Her children, Sigfredo, she and Sigfredo have, I believe it's a boy and a girl, and the son is special needs. I might be mixing that up with George's son, though. Wendy obviously has two children. They haven't suffered in the same way, but they have suffered. Who else has Charlie's kid in this? His son, just all the kids, like innocent kids who had nothing to do with all of these grown-up decisions who are suffering as a result of it. And I do hope, you know, they get the therapy they need. They deserve it. They deserve a good life and not to be mired down with the shenanigans of the adults running around. What do you guys think? Do you think she should get a different trial location? Do you think it's even enough? I think it's a stretch, or am I being harsh? Let me know what you think, because you guys always, you know, keep me grounded, and I appreciate that. All right, I'll talk to you later. Toodles.